Okay, guys, I am giving you a right after the show reaction review, whatever you want to call it, of AEW All In 2025 from Texas. Just finished watching it. It just happened literally right now. I did not watch the pre-show, so I can't really review that or rate that, so I'm going to skip that. The first match that I saw in this pay-per-view, I gotta say, they went right into the action. There wasn't a whole lot of any promos or ads, which was a welcome change from watching a lot of WWE lately, which now has like an absurd amount of ad breaks. Anyway, first match I saw, the Trios Championships, the Ops versus Claudio, Wheeler, and Gabe Kidd. Great match, good opener. Felt like it could have gone a little bit shorter with a little more energy. Felt like it went a little bit long and a little lackadaisical, but still a great match. Really enjoyed it. Always nice seeing the Ops get a win, and Samoa Joe still kicking it after I've seen him for 20 plus years at this point, so it's amazing that he's still around. Next match, men's casino gauntlet match. MJF wins, which was a great match, a little bit long. I felt like they could have had a little less, in terms of waiting for people. Felt like some of the breaks between wrestlers were quite long, and there were many periods where just like two people were in the ring and everybody else was like outside the ring and they're just waiting to come back in. So they could have maybe tightened it up. And overall, that's my really only critique of this show, is that it was 6 hours and like there were not really any breaks. It was just straight wrestling for 6 hours. And I felt like they could have maybe shortened that down a little bit, but that's not even including the pre-show either. So, but again, MJF sneaks in a victory. Mark Briscoe hits the J Driller on Roderick Strong, but MJF comes in and sneaks it off and gets the victory. So, next match, poor Adam Cole, my man. He came out and said that he was so injured that he could not continue and was not medically cleared tonight. And as far as I can tell, this is for real. This is not a kayfabe storyline. This seemed to be a shoot. And so they improvised a very quick match with like 3 hours notice. It's instead of a one-on-one match with Kyle Fletcher, it became Daniel Garcia versus Dustin Rhodes versus Kyle Fletcher versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. And Dustin Rhodes wins and the crowd goes home happy. Pretty good match, very surprising outcome. The crowd popped for it huge. I popped for it at home. It was great to see Dustin Rhodes at his age still getting the victory here. Don't know how long it's going to last. I imagine he might drop it to Fletcher pretty quickly. But poor Adam Cole, really, I just feel like Adam Cole cannot catch a break. And if he's really retiring, I mean, I feel so bad for the guy. He's gotten so many injuries, and he was very heartfelt, was literally crying when he came out there. And I just felt really bad for the guy. I hope he's okay. He should definitely have a spot as a coach or a trainer if he is. This the end is the road for him. But yeah, man, you can't. That guy's had such bad luck. It's hard to imagine what he did to get that bad luck in the last couple of years. But anyway, next match, Young Bucks versus Swerve and Ospreay. If the Young Bucks were to win, then Swerve and Ospreay couldn't challenge for the world title for an entire year. If Swerve and Ospreay were to win, the Young Bucks had to give up their EVP positions, and obviously this is storyline only, not for real. So what happens? Swerve and Ospreay win. It's a pretty great match, just what you'd expect from these four. Nothing really, extraordinarily good, but nothing bad either. Very solid match. Everybody went home happy. And I'm glad Swerve and Ospreay won, because not seeing either of those guys in the title picture for a year would be a mistake, especially Ospreay. I feel like Ospreay is so over. They need to either put the belt on him or Darby if Moxley ever loses it, which we'll get to in a minute. Next was the Women's Casino Gauntlet match. Athena won. Well-deserved win for Athena. She is awesome, doing great in Ring of Honor, and really deserves the bump up the card. I feel like she's one of the most underrated women's wrestlers in the world right now. A lot of people in this match. We had a debut, which was really awesome. And I think this is going to be a really great match as people look back on it, because I feel like the women are always underrated in AEW, but they always deliver, and this was another example. Next team match. And at this point, you can start to feel the show is getting long, because we haven't even had like really major developments yet, but we still have so many matches left. And not saying that Triple H has it right either, where he has really short events with like 4 matches. But this just felt, that's really my only critique overall, is it just felt a little too long. But anyway, the next match was the Hurt Syndicate versus the Patriarchy versus Jet Speed. The Hurt Syndicate wins, but the big news coming out of this match was not their retaining the titles. they turned on Christian, and who makes the save but Cope, Adam Copeland, Edge, whatever you want to call him. And they almost like hugged it out, but Edge just left the ring and said, go find yourself, which was obviously a reference to what Christian said to him before. Just used a different word in the middle there. So that was a nice moment. I thought they could have gone all the way instead of teasing the Edge and Christian reuniting. I think they could have just gone with it. But nevertheless, solid match. Not really, it felt fine for a pay-per-view, but could this have been on Dynamite instead? Absolutely. We wouldn't have missed out anything. Now, the last three matches, tremendous. The Women's World Championship was next. Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné. And wow, Toni Storm has had better matches, but not many. This was fantastic, and I was very surprised at how giving Mercedes Moné seemed to be. She played the heel role here fantastically. The crowd was so far behind Toni Storm in this one. So was I, but I thought there was no chance that she would win. I was pretty sure Mercedes Moné was not going to take her first loss in AEW tonight. But I was wrong. Toni Storm pulls it out, gets in my opinion, the upset, even though she was the defending champion. Pile drives Mercedes Moné from the second rope, and I hope she is okay because it looked like death. And what a fantastic match. Possibly my favorite match of the night, honestly. Just really another solid performance from Toni Storm. I hope WWE doesn't steal her away, but man, she is a great character and a great wrestler. Not anything to be taken away from Mercedes either. She's never been my favorite, but she played her role pretty well here, perfectly in my opinion. So the next match, probably, I don't want to say disappointment because it's Okada versus Omega for the International Unification Championship, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. And yes, we're so spoiled because of their other matches, but they also got a lot of pay-per-view buys by advertising this match. And then I feel like I don't want to say they under-delivered. It's still Okada versus Omega. It's still awesome. It was just very short. It felt like it was getting into the next gear, and then it was just over, like within 10 seconds. I don't have the exact time on me right this moment, but I would guess around 25 minutes maybe this match went. And there was some outside chicanery from Don Callis, and just stuff you didn't need to add on top of Okada versus Omega. I thought if they just stretched this out to like another 30 minutes and Okada just went after the abdominal muscles of Omega because of the diverticulitis and put him in like abdominal stretch, stump pullers, all kinds of stuff, that it could have been a classic. I don't even care about Okada winning necessarily. I don't think that's really that big of a problem. It was that it was so short and that he won in such an anticlimactic way. I did not expect myself to come out of this pay-per-view with Okada versus Omega being my complaint, but nevertheless, here we are. And again, it wasn't bad by any means. No one's saying it's bad. It was just that I think we all hunkered down for like more 6-star madness, but that's not what we got here. So, and then we're almost at the 5 hour and 15 minute mark at this point, and we're just getting to the main event. And again, that's without the pre-show, so really long pay-per-view here. But anyway, Texas Deathmatch, Moxley, Hangman. What can you say about this match? It started out a little bit slow, but they went right for it in terms of the violence. We had crazy spot after crazy spot. Shafir went through a table from a Death Valley driver off the apron by Adam Page. Prince Nana handcuffed her to the ring announcer or to some sort of device by the ring announcer. And then, of course, the returns. We had Bryan Danielson sneak in the back door during a Darby Allin Mount Everest video that was on the big screen in a luchador mask, does the yes chant, and then Busaku knees everybody and kicks everybody right when they were trying to put the plastic bag on Hangman, just like they did Danielson, so great callback there. Darby appeared on the big screen from Mount Everest saying he was coming from Moxley. But then, after Danielson came in, Darby came down from the ceiling like Sting, and I loved the slight botch where they showed him descending, and Taz recognized it, and at home I was freaking out. And then they cut back, because the crowd couldn't see him, he was so high up, they cut back for like 5 to 10 seconds to nothing, and nobody popped, and then you could see Darby, and then the crowd popped, but it was so funny how they like botched it slightly. But still, that wasn't the end of the match. You had all the Death Riders run in, you had the Young Bucks run in, you had Will Ospreay run in, and then Swerve was sort of the deciding factor in the determination at the end there. And then Hangman, just kills Moxley with the Buckshot Lariat. onto the bed of nails and then literally hangs him with a chain. And Moxley, of all things, taps out, which I really didn't expect to see. But the pop was unbelievable here. The pop for Danielson, the pop for Darby, the pop for Nana doing his little dance after he handcuffed Marina Shafir, and then the pop for Heyman winning, obviously, and then taking the belt out of the briefcase. This was executed pretty flawlessly. This was clearly their version of the Cody versus Roman ending with all the interference and, chicanery. But well done. No notes, really. I guess I think I would have reversed the order is my only critique, really. And that's a very small critique. I would have had Nana, handcuff Marina Shafir, all that stuff, hit him onto the bed of nails, choke him but not end the match, and then have, all the interference like Danielson and then Darby. I thought once Darby was in, that should have been the end right there. But again, small critique. I popped huge at home. The crowd clearly loved it. Everybody goes home happy. And most of all, we're just excited that Moxley no longer champion because nobody really was loving the Death Rider stuff. It's just so bland and generic, and I'm so thankful it's over. It was not my favorite storyline at all. Anyway, looking forward to see where they go from here. Felt like it was a great show. Overall, my thoughts, AEW always delivers on pay-per-views. I felt like I got my money's worth at 6 hours. How could you not? And again, there was no ad breaks hardly or any promos or any filler at all. It was a big change from watching WWE lately. So, great show overall. Would definitely watch it again. Feel like Omega Okada could have been a little bit longer and a little more to it. But that's really my only critique here. Maybe they should have shortened it up to 4.5 hours and cut out some of those matches that maybe could have been a pre-show or a Dynamite match. But that's pretty much it. My thoughts go out to Adam Cole. I hope you're all right, dude. I just feel like you have the worst luck of any human being alive. I don't know what you did to deserve it. And way to go, Adam Page. We're happy to have you as champion. Good to have Darby back. And we'll catch you next time. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe. Turn on that bell notification if you want more updates like this. And have a great day.